Okay, everybody, it is me, Gregory Mannarino. It is Thursday, December 9th, 2021. First of all, I heard you. I heard all of you. Yesterday, I explained to you that there were some who were writing to me explaining, Greg, your videos are too long. And I asked for your opinion on that. And overwhelmingly, it seems that you enjoy videos when they are a little longer. Look, I don't plan out how long I'm going to talk. It just works out that way when I finish what I want to cover with you. So anyway, I want to thank all of you for your feedback regarding the length of these videos. And, well, we're going to keep it going. People, let's talk. A lot of stuff going on here. I really don't know where to start. I guess we'll start off with the economic news. Okay, let's do that. So we found out today, and again, no surprise to you. And what I'm about to tell you, well, you know what? Let's talk. Okay. Inflation right now is at a 40-year high with no end in sight. You remember, I don't know, a month or so ago, we were at a 30-year high. Well, now we've hit a 40-year high. It's not going to stop by design. Okay, all the nonsense, all the talk about tapering, about raising rates, it won't make any difference anyway. It's not what the Fed wants to do. The Fed is fully engaged in fulfilling their end game, to be the lender and buyer of last resort, own it all, and wipe out the middle class. That's what they are doing here, okay? So if you understand that, you realize why you are seeing what you are seeing. Let me put another perspective on this for you. No amount of tapering, they tapered nothing, okay, the Fed, no amount of rate hikes is going to be able to stop inflation from surging here, okay? It's all a lie. It's all a distraction that we've been hearing pretty much all week long from the mainstream channels. Oh yeah, the Fed is going to taper faster. Oh yeah, the Fed is going to be raising rates meaningfully moving forward. It's not true. It's not going to happen. Forget it. Okay, so it's every man and every woman for themselves here in this freak show. I'm going to stop going crazy. Dog shit, cat shit, bird shit environment. It's an attack. You are under attack. I don't know another way to put this, people, but I think you got that. So anyway, that's one piece of economic news. Inflation is now near a 40-year high. Imagine Greg Mannarino shock. You can't imagine how shocked I am. Now, the other piece of it's propaganda. Okay, let's talk about the propaganda this morning. So we found out this morning, I was writing down these numbers, that last week, claims for unemployment came in at 184,000. Well, do me a favor if you want to laugh. Turn on, again, any of the propaganda ministry channels. You're going to hear cheering. It's the greatest thing. This is the lowest number since the pandemic. We're recovering. We're doing fantastic. Okay. Let's step back a moment. You know I'm a macro guy, meaning I look at the bigger picture. Let's just look at the numbers they're telling us over the last 2 weeks. Okay, so today, lovely. Apparently, it's beautiful. Just another 184,000 people applying for first-time unemployment benefits. Last week, okay, it was 227,000. So what they don't want you to know, okay, are you ready? Just in the past 2 weeks, another 411,000 people have applied for first-time unemployment benefits, but it's the greatest thing in the history of the world. Nearly 500,000 people in 2 weeks. But it's great, and it's tremendous, and it's fantastic. They're parading these freaks out, especially on Bloomberg this morning, talking about how strong our economy is. Meanwhile, we got, again, inflation surging at a 40-year high. We got consumer debt, household debt, personal debt exploding here. It's completely out of control, but it's great. You want to laugh? let's have a little fun here. On the back of this so-called fantastic economic news that we got, stock futures are lower across the board. Well, to be honest, it's really not all about that. What else are we finding out with regard to economic news globally? Well, more travel restrictions are being put in place. More restrictions across the board are being put in place because of moronic, okay? So right now, of course, you would expect that to hit the market as well, and that's why stock futures are lower. So you got, again, in the past 2 weeks, nearly 500,000 people, first-time unemployment claims you got, and that's supposed to be good news. And you got travel restrictions, and more restrictions are coming. People, again, what have I been telling you? You're not allowed anymore to think for yourself. No free action, no free movement, restrictions, control, face diapers, jabs, everything else they want to do to you. And people are literally flinging their hands up in the air. I surrender to moronic, and whatever you want to tell me. Again, the propaganda ministry is in full control. It's so sick to see what we are witnessing right now. It's so crazy, people. Anyway, I want to talk about this. There's a lot of talk, especially this morning, okay? And I understand, look, there's the same YouTubers out here trying to push the fear narrative. They're talking about, and it's not just the YouTube so-called experts out here, it's even on the mainstream. Are we about to experience an imminent stock market drop? Okay, let's talk about that. What do you and I know to look at? The yield curve, which has been normalizing lately. The relative dollar strength, which is right now actually slightly higher. The MMRI, greatest indicator for market risk, in my opinion, on the face of the freaking planet. There is a link to the MMRI in the description of this video. We also understand that the Fed has no intention on stopping this easy money. Let's call it what it is. It's heroin for the market. It's some kind of a freak stimulus for a dying economy, but we're doing fantastic. You see, what these people won't tell you is the moment that the Federal Reserve stops pumping the market full of easy money for as far as the eye can see, and there's no end in sight here, this whole thing ends. This whole thing ends, and fast. So anyway, so all this talk about, an imminent market drop, personally, I don't see it. I told all of you Sunday, I expect to see this market, put on some kind of a Santa Claus rally this year. And look, I told you yesterday, the S&P 500 yesterday at the market close, we were like a fraction away from a new record high. Yes, stock futures are under pressure right now, but let me ask you, what do you think is going to happen if we get a drop in the market today, if it sells off tomorrow? You think it's going to last? Do you think this is going to play out here and this is it? It's really going to drop? No. The dip is going to get bought, period, the end. Let's move forward. Cryptocurrencies are under some pressure right now. Gold and especially silver is getting hammered. Silver's down like 2.5% right now. Even though the dollar is only fractionally higher, the relative strength of the dollar is only fractionally higher. Crude oil is about $71.50 per barrel. A little pressure on crude because of these new travel restrictions. Again, no free thought, no free action, no free movement. Welcome to the New World Order. You're done. Unless you do something about it, people. We have no voice anymore. Nothing. No representation. It's the banks. It's the central banks. It's the thing that you and I have been warned about for decades would come. And here it is now. And it's going to get so much worse, people. It makes me want to puke here. It really does. Now, there's another thing I want to talk about real quick before I let you go. I understand the video is getting a little long for those of you that don't like them. Okay, anyway. So there's a lot of calls again we heard it from Goldman Sachs, we heard it from Bank of America recently that next year the stock market is going to underperform. We got Goldman Sachs, the Wall Street super bank, downgrading US GDP. That's because our economy is so strong. Our economy is so incredibly strong, according to the propaganda ministry, that we're getting GDP downgrades. How does that work? Make it up. Make this stuff up. I dare you to do it. Anyway, what I'm going to tell you with regard to the calls for the market to underperform. Number one, I'm going to keep you on top of this. You know that. You're not going to lose. Number two, we know where to look. We're going to be watching the Federal Reserve's balance sheet, which is it's insane. Okay. It's gone parabolic, and it's not going to stop as the Fed continues to buy historic and epic amounts of assets. It's not going to stop. So that mechanism is a thing that's going to prop up the stock market. You all know that. Duh. Okay. We're going to watch the yield curve. We're going to watch the relative strength of the dollar. We're going to watch crude oil. Nothing matters. Okay. Forward guidance, PE ratios, all this stuff is just throw it out. None of it matters anymore when you have central banks trying to fulfill successfully their end game here, and you all know that. So don't worry about it. Ignore the calls for imminent stock market drops. Ignore the crash calls, and just realize that you are being propagandized to the highest possible degree. All right, we are in the middle of what I told you would happen. A new set of rules, people, you have no idea. Maybe you do if you follow this blog. A new paradigm, a new demographic, extreme haves, extreme have-nots, a feudal system, a wipeout of the middle class. That's what's going on here by design. It's not going to stop, and expect more. You see this moronic variant? If you believe that this is the last one coming down the pike, you have no clue. They have much more things in store for you. It's all about control, okay? You and me are dog shit to these people. All they're doing is working their way to an end very successfully here. People, I wish sincerely that things would be different here. The only way that things would be different is if we had a revolution that would include the U.S. military. But you see, the top brass, the U.S. military top brass, they're all involved. They understand what's going on, the control mechanism here, what's happening to the people. They don't give a damn. And unfortunately, it's just not going to go well, people. But like I have told you forever, be ready for anything. Mark my words. You don't listen to Greg Mannarino. Listen to Ray Dalio yesterday, who's explaining that he sees an economic disaster coming and people should prepare for it. So if you don't want to listen to Greg Mannarino, well, maybe you want to listen to Ray Dalio. I think most of you out here would listen to me, and I hope you would, but I've been telling you this for a long time. But if you need another opinion, you can listen to Ray Dalio as well. People, look, love all of you. Please share the video, please. I'll see all of you later, and we'll sum this up.